Hello everybody. In this video we'll try to understand what happens when the planet Jupiter is present in Ardra nakshatra in your horoscope. See, if you try to understand this placement, first you need to understand what is Jupiter and what is Ardra nakshatra. So Jupiter is also known as Guru or Brihaspati in Vedic astrology. So Jupiter qualities are similar to a Guru or the Brihaspati, we say. And so it basically represents your wisdom, knowledge, the dharma oriented energy of your horoscope, and the teachers are generally represented by Jupiter, the planet Jupiter. So generally if a person has Jupiterian qualities, he generally has more teaching abilities. He likes to teach, right? We say that. And spiritual growth, the fundamental spiritual growth is always represented by Jupiter. And then your expansion. So Jupiter always represents expansion and blessings and fortune. Jupiter is very much famous for blessings and fortune if it is not afflicted and if it is not a functionally malefic planet for your horoscope. Functional maleficity is checked with respect to your ascendant, that is with respect to your lagna. So Jupiter is basically a pure sattvic benevolent planet in general if it is not a functional malefic to your ascendant. So that is the Jupiter's behavior. It is also karaka of children in your horoscope, and it is also karaka of husband in a female's horoscope. Now what is Ardra nakshatra? So Ardra is one of the intense nakshatras. It is a Rudra nakshatra basically. It is the heart of Gemini. We say Ardra is the nakshatra where intellect was born. Even when the universe, in the process of universe creation, before Ardra nakshatra, the intellect, the intelligence was not born. But Ardra nakshatra is the energy where the intellect was born in the process of the whole universe creation also. So it stays in the heart of Gemini, 6 degree 40 minutes of Gemini to around 20 degrees of Gemini. Till that energy you can always find in the heart of Gemini. You can find all the Ardra expansion, right? So the ruling planet of Ardra is Rahu basically, and the symbolism is a teardrop or a storm, right? Ardra is nothing but a storm, generally we say that. And the deity of Ardra nakshatra is Rudra, is a fierce form of Shiva. See, the deity of Ardra nakshatra is not Shiva, it's Rudra, right? You have to note this point. It's a fierce form of Shiva. Shiva in the normal form is very cool and calm and doing meditation or some kind of tapasya, or he would be exploring himself, or he is exploring the whole tantric energies or the kind of calm energies very, very peacefully. But the Ardra nakshatra's deity is Rudra. It's fierce form of Shiva. So that's where we say the nature of this nakshatra is transformation through destruction. It's something like it's a big flood. It's a big, a particular villages, let us say it's very calm and peaceful, and suddenly a very big flood has come to that village and it is completely destroyed, and the form of the village is completely changed. If you imagine that energy, that is Ardra's energy, right? So the meaning of Ardra is the tearful one, the moist one, right? The moist is always represented by Ardra nakshatra. So it basically represents storms. It represents emotional intensity, the sudden changes and destruction before renewal. So after, let us say the village has gone, the storm has come to the village, and the village shape and the structure of the village is completely changed. Now it is a different form, right? Now once the storm has gone, again you can see the freshness in the village. So after Ardra, you can see that freshness. So after sudden changes in your life, you would see a different life. After emotional intensity, you would see a different person of yourself, right? So Ardra is the destruction before renewal. And what is the nature of Ardra energy? Ardra is also, it's not only the storm in the material plane level, in the earthy level, it's also a storm in the cosmic level. So it is also called as a cosmic storm. The process is destructive process. So the transformation can be, in your life or in anybody's life, transformation can happen in any form. But here the transformation in Ardra nakshatra, the transformation happens generally through destruction, through chaos, through emotional release, through a kind of rebuilding, right? It's always a new wisdom, you can say. Ardra means a new wisdom also, because till that point the things were very cool. The things were, even if you see the nakshatra process, Ashwini was where the life was born, and Bharani is the energy where the life is nourished, and then Kritika is where the life form itself is separated. Kritika is where the energy comes to know this is different, or this person is different, this person is different. That's where we say Kritika is very much famous for criticism, right? So, and then Rohini is where you can see a lot of beauty. Once the things are segregated, you can see the beauty in the world, because you know what is what now. By Kritika's knowledge, you know what is what. Now Rohini is where you can experience the beauty now, right? So then Mrigashira is where the life is like a very smooth musical searching, or kind of you want to know more, you're seeking more, because once you experience the beauty, once you see the beauty, then you want to know what is it, what else I can see, what else. So you want to know the beauty, you want to seek some more knowledge in Mrigashira. But where the Ardra is where you can see the intellect is born. So before the intellect was born, everything was a kind of fun. But once Ardra energy is born, it's a kind of new wisdom altogether. It's a kind of rebuilding the entire structure. Generally we say, let us say there's a very big celebration going on, but now a person is, so everybody is enjoying. But let us imagine a person with lot of Ardra energy is also in that celebration. He would be thinking, this happiness, this whole happiness the people are enjoying here, it's a kind of, temporary thing. These people are a bit, they're innocent, that's why they are enjoying. They don't know that this happiness is a kind of, it's a temporary, it's a kind of, if too much of Ardra is present in somebody, that person may think if this particular whole happiness and celebration is a kind of, it's just a normal thing, or it's a kind of nonsense. If Ardra is some more, if this Ardra energy is more, right? That is a fundamental behavior of Ardra, and it's a kind of destructive energy, we say, right? It's not at all a kind of, it's not a very big happy energy. That's what I want to tell you. It's a intellectual energy. It's a kind of emotional release energy. It is useful for destruction and chaos. It's a new wisdom altogether. It's like a thunderstorm that clears the sky, right? So it's a storm basically. Now you come to know about Ardra nakshatra now, and Jupiter is present in Ardra nakshatra. Now Jupiter is a kind of, if it is not functionally malefic in your ascendant, you may think Jupiter is a kind of happiness giving planet or a contentment giving planet. And such a planet is present in Ardra. And what can be the relationship here? See, this is a complex placement. Now you can understand based on the behavior of Jupiter and Ardra nakshatra, because Jupiter is wisdom, whereas Ardra is about chaos. And Jupiter is about dharma, Ardra is about storm. And Jupiter is about faith and belief, Ardra is about emotional turmoil. Jupiter is about teaching, Ardra is about destruction. So Jupiter in Ardra can give the energy of wisdom gained through suffering and transformation. So it's very much evident that the people having Jupiter in Ardra nakshatra, they definitely 100% they are going to gain wisdom through suffering and transformation in their life. Because see, the moist, the tear drop, it's all related to suffering only. When a person suffers, then only those tear drops you can see, that moist you can see, right? So the wisdom, but the person is going to gain wisdom for sure, because Jupiter is in Ardra. So after the suffering and transformation, the person is going to gain wisdom. And what can be the psychological nature of this particular personality? See, a person with Jupiter in Ardra often questions religion deeply, because Jupiter is about religion. And so the person does not blindly follow any tradition. The person gains wisdom through some kind of crisis in his life. And the person experiences spiritual awakening after suffering. So generally, whenever I see Jupiter and Ardra nakshatra in a person, I would definitely say the person is going to be a researcher, or a person can be a psychologist, or he can be an astrologer, he can be a scientist, he can be a good investigator, See, because they want to know the hidden truth of life. Because after all suffering, then they get an idea what is the hidden truth of life, why so much of suffering, right? So, and as I'm talking about Ardra nakshatra, and I also told you that it is the energy where the intelligence or the intellectuality was born for the first time in the universe. So, and it is also in the heart of the intellectual sign, that is Gemini. So Ardra is in Gemini, and it is also, Gemini is mainly ruled by Mercury, but Ardra of course is ruled by Rahu, which is kind of out of the box thinking. So intellectual abilities we should talk about, because Ardra is about intelligence, right? And then what I can say, when Jupiter is in Ardra, the person can do deep analysis, the person can do a very great research, the philosophy, the person definitely would have some kind of philosophy in his life for sure, right? He's not a regular person, I want to tell you that, right? A psychology, he has strong ability in studying psychology, occult knowledge, or any hidden science, right? So that's why I would see, whenever this kind of placement is present, the person would love astrology or tantra or mysticism or technology or the modern, technologies, whatever modern technologies coming, the person would love. The person would love some complex systems also, very, very complex systems the person would love. And as I'm talking about wisdom gained through some suffering, so, and also here Ardra deity is Rudra. See, whenever a person is doing some kind of destruction or some kind of destructive energy or emotional turmoil energy is associated, then definitely the person some or the other way in his life going to follow the spiritual path. See, Ardra deity is Rudra. This nakshatra often pushes a person towards intense spiritual transformation. Right? Of course, early life the person may have some kind of confusion about this religion or that religion, this god or that god, what is this religion, why this mantra, why this tantra, all this confusion the person may have. In the middle life, the person may experience some kind of crisis, but later life, the person is definitely going to gain wisdom. So they become very, very spiritual after pain. So this placement produces spiritual healers also. But at a later age, I want to tell you, right? Not in the middle age or early age. A person can be a spiritual healer in the later part of life, or a kind of tantric practitioner, or a kind of good astrologer, or a deep philosopher. This is what I can see in this placement. And I'm talking about emotional turmoil, suffering. So how would be the emotional nature of this particular person? Ardra definitely brings some kind of deep emotional storms in the person's life. So Jupiter here may experience some kind of emotional intensity, a sudden life change, a periods of depression followed by wisdom. So I want to tell you, this particular person having Jupiter and Ardra, don't worry if you are going through some kind of painful period in your life, because that painful period is there to give you a lot of wisdom. And before that painful period, your wisdom was very less. Please understand. And after this painful period, your soul is getting that wisdom, and that wisdom is, of course, important for your soul, right? Maybe you might have experienced so many things in your past lives, but you did not have wisdom. Now Jupiter is here to give you a lot of wisdom. So strong empathy towards suffering people also, this particular person would have, because he has suffered a lot. So he would have that empathy towards suffering people. So they understand pain of others very deeply, because he has undergone through the pain, right? So now when a person is able to understand the pain of others, and he also has some kind of wisdom, and just imagine the person would become a healer in the afterlife, something like after midlife, I would say. So the career tendencies, if you talk about the possible fields, are always the research, I would say, because Jupiter and Ardra is an energy of intellectuality. So research, science, technology, data analysis, psychology, astrology, spiritual teaching, crisis management, investigation, are kind of any intelligence agency he can work for, right? So the person would love to solve complex mysteries also. That is the behavior of Jupiter in Ardra I'm talking about, right? So remember that. So what can be the negative things present here? See, Jupiter is in Ardra nakshatra. If it is watched by some Saturn or Mars, how it would be? Or if it is afflicted by some Rahu Ketu axis. So when a planet is present on Rahu Ketu axis, the planet is said to be afflicted. And when a planet is watched by Saturn or Mars, that planet would get some kind of maleficity. It would become weak, or we say, right? Because Saturn and Mars, irrespective of whether they are functionally malefic or benefic to your ascendant, doesn't matter, their aspects are always treated as malefic. So if Jupiter is like afflicted because of Rahu Ketu axis, or it is becoming weak or getting maleficity because of Saturn or Mars aspect, so there are some traits you can observe in this particular personality. In this case, when the planet is afflicted or kind of becoming weak or gaining some maleficity, you can see the person would lose faith. He would not have much faith on anything in life, especially faith on God. Also, some point of time the person may lose a lot completely. But do not worry, you will gain wisdom and you will become a very good, very great person later part of life. And a kind of manipulation through knowledge. The person can do manipulation through knowledge. The person would have some kind of destructive thinking. The person may have some kind of philosophical confusion. And so these are the energies I can see when Jupiter present in this Ardra nakshatra is either afflicted or becoming weak or gaining some maleficity, right? And this particular person has to do some kind of Rudrabhisheka, or has to chant Hanuman Chalisa every day, or the person should always if Jupiter is functionally benefic, the person should wear yellow clothes. Or if the Jupiter is functionally malefic, then the person has to donate the yellow clothes or yellow things, right? So Rahu energy can create that illusion and distortion when this Jupiter is afflicted or becoming weak. In other cases, I am telling you, he is a very great researcher, or whatever things we discussed, right? Those are all applicable to this particular position. So as the positive things, that is when Jupiter is not afflicted or not watched by Saturn or Mars, then the person can be a kind of revolutionary thinker. The person is a spiritual reformer. It's a great, profound teacher, I would say, because of Jupiter's energy here. Jupiter is not afflicted, not weak. So just imagine, he's a master of hidden knowledge also. He's a powerful healer, he can become a powerful healer. So So the person can transform the pain into wisdom, right? That is the ability the person can get once this Jupiter is stronger and not afflicted or not weak, right? So generally speaking, these people are very philosophical, or they may have some practical intelligence, they have scientific mind, they are kind of spiritual mystics. But this is the overall energy I feel. And always remember, my dear Jupiter in Ardra native, wisdom comes after storms in your life, right? Do not worry about that. That is a core lesson that you need to understand, that you need to learn, right? So the sudden life turning points, or the emotional transformations, or the deep understanding of life's suffering, this is all very common. These are all the common patterns for you, but eventually you're going to guide others, right? So do not worry about it. It's a very, very, great placement, I would say, right? So that's what I would say. This person is going to become very wise through intense life experiences and transformation. So no need to worry about this placement. So just do Shiva Bhisheka, Rudra, or Panchayatana Rudrabhisheka, or you can say chant Hanuman Chalisa. So these are all good for you, right? These are all can make this pain less and wisdom more, right? So thanks for watching this video.